Addiction, the relentless force that drives human behavior, a force that clutches at our souls and spirals lives into a labyrinth of dependency. This is not a tale of casual indulgence, but a chilling exploration of how the allure of pleasure can lead to self-destruction. A story that began long before the infamous experiments that forever marred the annals of scientific history. It starts with the subtle allure of everyday comforts. A career pursued with relentless passion can transform into an obsession, and even a simple cup of coffee can become a lifeline when routine fractures. Our species, wired for reward, is predisposed to seek out anything that makes us feel good, a trait that, when exploited, can lead to catastrophic outcomes. In the twilight of the 1960s, as society grappled with the aftershocks of cultural revolution and rampant drug use, a group of scientists dared to probe the mysteries of addiction in the most provocative way imaginable. Their groundbreaking study, known infamously as the 1969 self-administration of psychoactive substances by monkeys, was designed to explore the underpinnings of psychological dependency. The experiment was not an abstract inquiry, but a visceral demonstration of the addictive potential of various substances. At Michigan University, in a sterile laboratory setting far removed from the natural world, specially designed apparatuses awaited their unwilling subjects. Monkeys, selected from a controlled breeding colony, were placed in individual cubicles equipped with two switches, one that delivered a dose of drug directly into their bloodstream, and another that merely mimicked the sound of an injection. A drinking fountain and a meticulously maintained environment provided the only semblance of comfort in an otherwise mechanical and isolating setup. Before the introduction of any psychoactive substance, each monkey was given a period of acclimation. They were surgically fitted with a catheter, enabling a direct connection to an infusion system, a lifeline to the experimental drugs. In these early days, the switches dispensed nothing but saline solution, establishing a baseline for their natural curiosity. A signal light above the switch offered a promise of reward, a silent harbinger of the profound transformation to come. When the time came to introduce the test substances, ranging from caffeine and morphine to cocaine and codeine, the experiment took on a sinister intensity. Some monkeys, naturally predisposed to seek the fleeting euphoria, pressed the lever repeatedly, their behavior evolving into a compulsive ritual. The mechanism was simple. An initial dose, a slight positive sensation, and then an insidious escalation as the subjects began to press the lever in an effort to sustain that fleeting pleasure. The study was not a single monolithic trial, but a series of experiments, each exploring a different substance and its potential to ensnare the mind. With each drug, the outcomes varied dramatically. Caffeine, generally benign in human consumption, produced erratic behavior in some subjects. A few monkeys pressed the lever persistently, while others quickly abandoned the task, only to be reconditioned by automated dosing. Morphine, a substance with which the researchers had extensive experience, proved to be a double-edged sword. In a prolonged study spanning over 16 months, most of the monkeys gradually escalated their intake, their dependency evolving into a pattern that mirrored human addiction. Occasional mechanical failures in the dosing system triggered desperate attempts to compensate, a frantic pressing of the lever that underscored the depth of their reliance on the drug. Other substances, such as cocaine and amphetamines, revealed a more nuanced picture. The experiments demonstrated that the addictive quality of these drugs was not rooted in physical withdrawal alone, but rather in the psychological need to remain under the influence. In several cases, the subjects exhibited severe withdrawal symptoms when the drug was withheld: loss of appetite, erratic behavior, and a palpable sense of distress that resonated with the human experience of addiction. Yet despite these alarming signs, the research continued, driven by a fervent desire to understand the dual nature of addiction. the euphoria of the high versus the agony of withdrawal. At the heart of the experiment was the innovative design of the self-administration device, a contraption that allowed the monkeys to control their own exposure to the drugs. By creating a scenario where the subjects could choose to press the lever repeatedly for the substance, the researchers aimed to simulate the voluntary nature of drug use in humans. The experimenters meticulously recorded the number of lever presses, the patterns of self-dosing, and the subtle behavioral cues that indicated the onset of psychological dependency. The implications were profound. The study provided a stark illustration of how easily the mind could be ensnared by the promise of relief from discomfort, a phenomenon that paralleled human addiction, where individuals persist in their habits despite overwhelming evidence of personal and social ruin. The experiment's outcomes underscored a crucial point. Addiction is not solely the result of physical dependency, but also a deeply ingrained psychological compulsion. Yet, as the study progressed, it became clear that the methods employed were as controversial as the findings themselves. The very design of the experiment, with its inescapable mechanical apparatus and forced isolation, raised serious ethical questions. The animals, subjected to a cycle of euphoria and withdrawal, experienced levels of distress that bordered on cruelty. The suffering inflicted upon these sentient beings sparked widespread condemnation and ignited a fierce debate about the ethical boundaries of scientific research. Critics argued that the study was emblematic of the darker side of scientific inquiry, a willingness to sacrifice the well-being of living creatures in the pursuit of knowledge. The researchers, however, defended their work by pointing to the valuable insights it provided into the nature of addiction. They maintained that understanding the mechanisms of dependency was essential if society was to develop effective treatments for drug abuse and addiction. Yet, even as they celebrated their contributions to science, the moral cost of their experiment loomed large. The legacy of the 1969 monkey trials is a complex one. On one hand, the study advanced our understanding of addiction, offering a glimpse into the powerful interplay between psychological reward and physical dependence. On the other, it served as a stark reminder of the ethical dilemmas inherent in using animal subjects for research. The scars borne by the test subjects, a silent testament to the inhumanity of the methods, became a rallying cry for animal rights advocates and helped catalyze a global movement towards more humane research practices. In subsequent decades, strict regulatory frameworks were established to ensure that the welfare of animals used in research would be safeguarded. The once controversial methods of the past were replaced by protocols that emphasized both scientific rigor and ethical responsibility. The 1969 study, now a cautionary tale, continues to haunt the annals of scientific history, a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge must never come at the expense of compassion. The echoes of that dark experiment extend far beyond the sterile confines of the laboratory. The psychological insights gleaned from the trials offer a window into the human condition, a condition defined by our relentless pursuit of fleeting moments of pleasure and relief. In the quiet desperation of withdrawal and the frantic clamor for another hit, we see reflections of our own inner battles. The study laid bare the raw nerve of addiction, exposing the intricate balance between the allure of euphoria and the terror of emptiness when that high fades away. As society evolved, so too did our understanding of addiction. No longer seen as a mere failure of willpower, addiction emerged as a complex interplay of neurochemistry, environment, and deep-seated psychological needs. The study's revelations forced scientists, clinicians, and policymakers to confront the stark reality that addiction was not simply about the substance itself, but about the human craving for connection, comfort, and escape. In this light, the brutal experiments of the past take on a dual legacy. a beacon of scientific inquiry on one side and a somber warning of the ethical precipice on the other. Today, the battle against addiction continues in clinics, communities, and research centers worldwide. Therapies and interventions now focus not only on the physical aspects of dependency, but also on the psychological scars that remain long after the substance is gone. The lessons of the past have spurred a shift towards compassionate care and comprehensive treatment strategies, emphasizing rehabilitation over retribution. Yet, the specter of those early experiments lingers, a constant reminder that our journey to understand and heal the human mind is fraught with peril. In the quiet moments of reflection, the story of those tormented subjects whispers a cautionary tale. It urges us to seek knowledge without sacrificing empathy, to probe the depths of the human psyche while honoring the sanctity of life. The dark legacy of the 1969 trials is a call to balance scientific ambition with moral integrity, a reminder that in our quest to unravel the mysteries of addiction, we must never lose sight of the suffering behind the statistics. As we stand on the shoulders of these controversial experiments, we are reminded that the pursuit of scientific truth must always be tempered by ethical responsibility. The road ahead is one of hope, a path where breakthroughs in understanding addiction are matched by breakthroughs in compassionate care. The shadow of the past does not have to dictate our future. Instead, it can serve as a powerful catalyst for change, guiding us towards research that not only advances our knowledge, but also respects the inherent dignity of every living being. In the end, this dark chapter in the history of addiction is not merely a tale of scientific curiosity gone awry. It is a profound narrative about the human condition, our capacity for both destruction and redemption. It challenges us to confront our own vulnerabilities and to strive for a future where the quest for pleasure is never divorced from the commitment to humane and ethical treatment. May this legacy inspire us to forge a path where empathy, ethics, and enlightenment walk hand in hand, lighting the way out of the darkness into a more compassionate tomorrow. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the dark side of addiction documentary. Your support means a lot as we continue to explore complex and often uncomfortable truths. If you found this exploration insightful, please consider subscribing to our channel for more thought-provoking content. We look forward to sharing more stories that challenge and enlighten. This is Freakfile channel that bring dark history and horror story to life via documentary. And remember, every echo from a caged monkey tells a tale of human vulnerability.